I always thought I was a better teacher than a fighter. Even to this day, I thought I was a better teacher than a fighter.
Really?
The fighting, I can do. I'm gifted with that. But the teaching, I love.
And yeah, Kung Fu Chronicles back for a brand new year, and hope you, yes you, are off to a great start. Make any resolutions? Break any yet? Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Merry New Year! In this country, we say Happy New Year.
Okay, either way, we've got an amazing interview today with an undisputed legend in the game. But quick business first, go ahead and drop me a like down below. Only takes a second, but it means a ton to me. Trust me, this algorithm game is a beast. And drop a comment down below. Let us know that you're into content like this, so of course we can
make more of it.
All right, this time around, Sensei Benny Urquidez, aka Benny the Jet, is on deck, and we finally got him on the channel. So ready, set, go. So today we got super special guest, and it almost needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. He's a martial artist, American kickboxer, in fact, 6-time world kickboxing champ. He's an instructor, of course, action star, Sensei Benny the Jet. How are you, sir?
I am very good, thank you.
Yeah, so glad to finally have you on here. Of course, we have a couple mutual friends, so I got to give him some props. Sensei Cecil Peoples helped make this happen, so I got to give him his love. And of course, I just spoke with Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham the other day, so really great guy. He can't talk enough. He talks so highly about you. So I'm gonna get it going right away. I know you started martial arts at a very early age, and you've come from a fighting family. But just got to ask the question: when you were growing up, did you ever have any other aspirations to do anything else besides martial arts? I mean, was it ever like, Dad, I want to be a doctor, not a fighter?
Well, you know, it's again, there's 9 black belts in my family, and so we all kind of just go out, find new technique, design it, come back and try it on each other, and if it works on them, it work on anybody.
Right.
So, but that was our thing. It was basically we get a chance to get together, you know, and I mean, we trained every day, but get together on Saturday, and we have we'll come in, outside family, will come in, and I mean, I have 52 nephews and nieces, so it just goes to show you.
Yeah, the lineage.
There's a lot of us, yes.
Lineage, okay. So never any doubt that's what you wanted to do. But since you started at an early age, actually, Sensei Cecil, people talked about you being like a 14-year-old black belt, teaching that early at Master Bill Riasaki's school.
But I call him Sensei Benny because he was a purple belt. Benny was 14 and I was 18.
How was that? Were you ever, like, as a 14-year-old, feeling a little intimidated because you're probably teaching adults at the time, right?
You know, at 14, I had a very big dojo. I mean, it was a very big school, and the gentleman, I was teaching his son, and he loved how I teach so much that he owned actually maybe, I don't know how many acres, but he had all these buildings, and so he decided he'll let me have one of the buildings. He designed it and so forth, and actually we would run. It was like 18 miles away from where I lived. So my brother and my brother-in-law and we would run uphill 18 miles to the gym.
Oh, wow.
And then we would teach. And then at night, I had these curtains that, you know, by button, they closed by themselves. And then after 9 o'clock at 14 years old, it became the disco dojo.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was just young and but that's one thing. I always thought I was a better teacher than a fighter. Even to this day, I thought I was a better teacher than a fighter.
Really? Okay, so I'd think to say you enjoy instructing a lot then, because you're still doing it.
Well, you know what? The fighting, I can do. I'm gifted with that, but the teaching, I love.
Okay. That's awesome. It's great to find your passion, and I know that feeling. So when was Master Bill Riasaki your first instructor? Was that correct, or?
Yes, Bill Riasaki.
Okay.
He was, matter of fact, I think I was 5-6 years old, somewhere around that. I started judo. Actually, my father was a professional boxer, and my mother wrestling. So from the time I was 3, I had boxing gloves when kid had fire trucks. So
Nice.
by the time I was 5 years old, I was already competing. My brothers and I, we were competing Pee-wee division. And then at 6 years old, we started judo, and we started competing in judo and boxing back and forth. And then at 7, I started Kempo Karate with Bill Rozaki.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, no, and it's amazing. So, like, when I look at the amount of styles, like, it says you like 9 styles. So did I get that right? Like judo, kaju kempo, shotokan, taekwondo, lima lama, white crane kung fu, jiu-jitsu, aikido, and American kempo, as you mentioned. All those.
yes, that's right.
Now let me ask you.
You know what?
Yep, go ahead.
Yes, please.
I was gonna ask you, like, because I'm a kung fu guy. So why particularly did you gravitate to white crane kung fu? That's interesting to me.
Because actually. It wasn't a normal kung fu. It had a rhythm, and I love the fluid movement. I like soft styles and hard styles. But more my brother and sisters like the hard style. I like more of the soft style.
Interesting.
And so I just think that I was better as a showman.
Yes.
I can actually, I love dancing, and it gave me a rhythm. And in that rhythm, my technique, people would look at me and they thought I was dancing because it gave me fluid movement. It didn't make me look rigid. It made me look real nice and fluid. And that's why I liked it. I really enjoyed the white crane for that reason, because it wasn't the normal kung fu that I've seen.
Yes.
Okay? And I don't know, maybe I'm just strange and why I like the stranger things, that's all.
But it makes a lot of sense because the fluidity, and that's what kind of that I started liking or really lean towards kung fu for that reason. I started in karate in the beginning, Weichiru, but I really like the fluidity of kung fu, so kind of stuck with that. So I completely get it. When you were a kid, also I read that you actually saw you were at the Long Beach tournament where Bruce Lee did that 1-inch punch.
Yes, oh yeah.
How was that? Yeah.
This was in, I think, 64 or 65, yes. right there where he first came. Yes. And he was doing a demonstration about the 4-finger strike. And he had this guy about 250 pounds, and he had a metal plate on his chest. And it was a weightlifting plate. And I'm wondering what he's doing. So my mother is American Indian, and she used to tell me about internal power, internal training. I never understood her, but for some reason, when Bruce was actually talking about how he generates his power from internally, it caught my ears, and I was right at there was a tape and a square, and I was right at the edge of it, watching him, listening to him. And then he made this noise, ooh, and he hit this plate. This guy goes flying back 4 feet, hits a chair, goes over the chair. I jump up and said, I want to do that. Nice. And that's when I asked my brother, I said, can I spar with him? Wow. And my brother said, I don't have enough experience. So I went to every tournament there was. I beat every tournament. And so I told my brother, now can I spar with him? And he said, you don't have enough experience. So in '69, this was actually, I was Presley's team with Mr. Parker, and he brought everybody from the United States to fight and put a team together to go to Belgium, go to England. So I beat everybody there was to beat, and I was the youngest and the smallest on the team, and there was a 5-man team. So I was on the Elvis Presley team. We went to Belgium, and everybody's talking about who's going to fight. Who's going to fight Lemons. And I don't know who Lemons is, but actually Lemons is the best in Europe, especially in Belgium. He's very powerful. And I said, I'll fight him. So they all looked down at me, and they said, oh. So they looked at me, but I can see in their eyes like if I was a sacrificed lamb. They said, okay, we'll let you fight him.
You do it.
And so I ended up fighting him, and I beat him.
Nice.
I beat him, And matter of fact, my first kick, I kicked him in the legs. He went down. I went over there, I rubbed his legs because I didn't want it to stop. I rubbed his legs, and everybody was laughing. And I'm thinking, what they're laughing about? I have no idea what they were laughing about, but I just didn't want it to end.
Right.
We got up. So I ended up beating him. And then we went to England, and then we went to Germany. We came back, and I told my brother, now
am I ready?
Can I spar with Bruce Lee? And he said, you don't have enough experience.
Wow. Okay.
So then the full this was in 73.
Yes.
Full contact karate. This was in Hawaii. And I said, full contact karate, what does that mean? He says, well, you're going to do karate, but to the knockout. I said, I won't get disqualified. He said, it's to the knockout. So we went to Hawaii, my younger brother, my brother-in-law and I, we went to Hawaii, and there were so many competitors. And it was like no weight divisions, no rules, nothing. You just, whoever you were standing next to, you fought.
You fought, okay.
So I fought, I think, about 7 times on Saturday or Friday. And then the next day I was supposed to fight 6 more times, but some of them they just had enough. They didn't even show up.
Wow.
So I ended up fighting, the next day I ended up fighting 3 guys, and I fought, Bernice White was the Marine champion.
Okay.
And he was like 6'2", I mean, powerful, I mean, strong. I beat him, and I stopped him in the 3rd. Okay. And then my brother-in-law was fighting Dana Goodson, which was 6'2".
So tall, yeah.
So they went the distance, and sure enough, Dana won. Right. So I ended up fighting Dana. And when the bell rang, he thought I was going to run from him. But when the bell rang, I ran right at him.
Right to him.
I mean, my head was up to his chest. I just
right, tall.
Because there was no rules. He just kept elbowing me, and my neck. I must have lost 2-3 inches, man, from elbowing on my neck. And I picked him up. I'm a good judo man. I picked him up, threw him on the ground, jumped up, stomped on him. I pinned him on the ground, and he started to roll me over, and I was getting tired. So I spit my mouthpiece out. I bit him in the chest.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I did. I bit him in the chest. He palmed my face away from his chest. He got up, and my teeth mark was on his chest. He said, you bit me. And I told him, I said, I was getting tired.
Right.
But I ended up stopping him. I beat him. And that was, I took the World Series of Martial Arts. I took that title.
Yes, sir.
And so when I came home, I told my brother, now
am I ready
to fight him. And then after that, later on, he ended up passing away.
Yeah, he passed away.
Dying. And I never had that chance, but he motivated me so much because I wanted to. I didn't want to prove nothing. I just wanted to show myself to see where I was at, my speed and so forth. I wanted to see how I would do against his speed.
Right, get to that high level.
And that never happened. But as far as I'm concerned, he's the best. You know, I would never know. As far as I'm concerned, he's the best. And
I mean, he's the motivator for so many people getting started in the martial arts. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. I was going to ask you about that, as a matter of fact. The transition from point to full contact fighting, but you explained it so well. You also had an early fight with Joe Louis, right? The kickboxer.
Yeah.
Joe.
Oh yeah. And this was actually all of them. Joe Louis, Skipper Mullins. They came from everywhere. And at the nationals, there was just bare knuckles on concrete floor at the internationals at the Long Beach Arena. And we fought. That was actually a 2-day tournament as well. And that also, it was elimination, but only they had 3 weight divisions: lightweight, middleweight, and heavy. That was it. So I was fighting guys that I was, I think, 130. I was fighting guys at 150, 155 pounds.
Outside your weight, yeah.
But bare knuckles. Yeah. And sweeping, taking down on concrete, and people will be bleeding across their face, but they'll rebound with. There was a code of honor, and there was the Bushido way back then in the '60s that no matter what happened, I seen I seen guys get their teeth knocked out, and they go out there, they just bow and, you know, and they just look at each other and they say, "I'll see you next year." In other words, it was just
respect, right?
It was just a code of honor, of respect and honor. Right. You know that I thought everybody did it. You know, that way. I didn't know it, in other cities or other countries they didn't do it like that. But at the nationals, there were so many different countries there. I figured, hey, the world's here, so everybody must be doing the same thing around the world.
Of course.
But when I started traveling, I realized, nope,
it's not that way.
When you go to another country, the original rules.
Right.
I was like the PKA, and Bill Wallace was heading the PKA, but you can only kick from the waist up in the PKA, because it was designed for Bill, because you know he didn't like getting kicked in the legs.
In the legs, right?
So you had to kick from the waist up and punch from the waist up.
Right.
And so my brother and Howard Hansen started the WKA, the World Karate Association, and I led that off, and then I started traveling. So when they told me, my brother said, "Okay, you're the world champion." I said, "How can I be the world champion? I didn't go outside the United States." They said, "Oh, you want to fight?" I said, "You want to call me world champion?" "Yeah, I want to go outside the United States." So he said, "All right." 2 months later, he says, "Okay, you want to fight Muay Thai?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll fight him." I thought it was his name. I had no idea what Muay Thai meant. I just thought when they said, "You'll fight him," I said, "Yeah, I'll fight him."
Yeah.
And so they brought 2 Thai champions from Thailand, and one of them fought Ernest White, Ernest Hart.
Okay.
And Ernest Hart was beating them and got stopped in the 3rd round. And so I come out, I'm the main event, and I see this guy actually doing his prayer. I had no idea what he was doing.
Okay, yeah,
so
the ritual. Yeah.
I've never seen it before. So I'm in the corner just kind of moving to his music, and the Thai people think I'm making fun of him.
Oh,
but I had no idea. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, you didn't see it.
So he came and stimulated shooting an arrow at me, and I smiled and put thumbs up, and he was pissed. He was angry. So he went to his corner, and when he came back, the bell rang. I mean, I had Charlie horses before, but I've never had anybody intention try to break my legs.
Right.
And when he kicked me in the thigh, my eyes bulged out of my forehead, and that hurted so bad. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So I was trying to jump over his round kicks to my thigh because I didn't know what to do with it. So the second round, my brother said, I said, "Brother, what do I do?" He says, "Kick him back." I said, "Oh yeah." I went back and I kicked him so hard, and he leg checked me. Oh, that hurted worse. Oh my God. I hit shin on shin. And I told my brother, coming back from the second round, I said, "You know what? This guy smells bad, and my eyes are burning." But I see in the corner they were spraying something on his shins, and I'm thinking, but it smells so bad. By then, this guy started clinching me. I've never seen clinches. He clinched me, elbowed me, kneed me, and all the Americans thinking he's cheating. So because they think he's cheating, so I said, okay. I didn't know what to do. My brother, this is how my brother says to me, "Don't let him grab you." That's great.
Easy, yeah, easier said than done.
I mean, he didn't know what to tell me. He never saw it either.
Right.
So every time he clinched me, I picked him up and I threw him on his head.
Okay.
And all the Thai people thinking I'm cheating because they never seen that.
Never seen that.
So now I'm throwing this guy and striking him and throwing him down. And by the 9th round came, they bet by the rounds who's going to win the round, not who's going to win the fight. So by then, Chuck Norris was already up by 14,000. Now everybody was, there was, for me, you know, but see, back then, they didn't know kicking to the legs and elbows and knees were points.
Right.
They didn't know that. So I was beating this guy, you know, by such a long run. That's the first time Muay Thai ever been introduced.
Yeah.
To Los Angeles or United States period.
Yeah, I remember the stories about that fight, and you were one of the first people to fight a Thai fighter. Pretty difficult. In fact, I was going to ask you, what would you consider? I mean, such a long career that you've had fighting. What one of your most memorable or most difficult fights? What would you say? Or is there one?
Well, you know what? He was a difficult fight because I've never seen the weapons that he used: elbows, knees, clinching, low kicking. I never seen that before, so. It was difficult at first because right after that, in Japan, they wanted to know who this American just beat the Thai champ.
Right.
So they gave me an invite. Me and 5 others. We went to Japan, and they told me I had to wear shorts. I said I don't wear shorts. I wear gi bottoms. I'm a martial artist.
Yeah.
And they said no, you have to wear shorts. And I said no, I'm a martial artist and I wear gi pants. And if you don't want me to wear gi pants, then I'm not fighting. Yeah. So they thought I was going to get knocked out anyway. So they said, okay, they let me go. Mm-hmm. And so they let me. And so the team that went over there, we all wear long pants.
Right.
So all 4 of my guys got stopped and I was telling them they're going to low kick you and elbows and this and that. But you see, I've never learn how to get away from it. Okay. And so once I started mimicking them. They low kick, but I started doing spinning back kicks. I started doing jump kicks. They'd never seen that before.
Right.
And so I just blew their mind. That just, I was kicking Suzuki so many different directions, axe kicks,
I know,
some spinning back kicks, and they just they had no idea what to do with me.
Right.
And so every time he clinched me, I threw him.
Nice.
And so I figured, hey, no rules. This guy came at me. I mean, he tried to he tried to cut me open with that elbow, and I never gave him a chance.
Yeah.
So I stopped him. I stopped him in the 6th round, or the beginning of the 5th round. I stopped him, and so the audience was quiet because they had no idea what just happened.
Right.
Because they just saw all my guys just got stopped.
Right.
But when I took their title from them, they were really upset. They actually had me come back in 3 months. They could not accept somebody from America to go there and take their title. And I had their title. So I went back with the title. In 3 months, I ended up fighting this, what was his name? I don't know, but you know what? He never came to the weigh-in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm watching him. I'm in the ring and I'm watching him in the beginning. And I said, brother, this guy is not 142. I said, one of his legs may be 142. But this guy has huge legs. And I said, this guy is not 142.
He's not 142, yeah.
And so my brother said, well, then you don't have to fight him. I said, oh, no, we're going to fight. And so my brother said, watch out for his legs. He's known for his power legs. I said, no problem. He started to fake like he was going to kick me. And it's the first time I ever looked down at anybody's feet. I looked down to see what he's going to do, and he hit me with an overhand right. And when he hit me, I hit the ground. I looked at him, and he had a little smirk, and I said, okay.
He baited you.
Giant, man. You
yeah.
I got up, and I smiled. I said, okay.
Got it.
Now I understand what time it is here.
Damn right.
And we win at it, but I didn't let him breathe at all. Yeah. And because he knocked me down right from the get-go, he stood toe-to-toe with me. And we just went to war. And I stopped him in the 4th round.
Nice.
And took his title.
Right.
And he was undefeated. And so when he brought him out of retirement, because he just went in retirement because he had nobody to fight. He was undefeated. Right. And when I beat Suzuki, because Suzuki took his title because it was he retired. As soon as I fought, he was there watching. He jumped up and he pointed. Yeah, he jumped up and challenged me, and I said,
Fight on. Game on.
You know what? You tell me when, I'll be there.
Right.
And the rest is history. I've been back ever since.
Yeah, it's still an amazing fight to watch. Every once in a while, I'll watch some of your old fights, but that fight in Japan, the one you're talking about earlier, is just like amazing because I know it's like, you know, one of some of those like pioneering things where you didn't even know what to expect, but you just still come out on top. That back spinning kick that you always pull off just seems to like mesmerize people. I love that move. I try to do it myself a lot. Was that like always your signature? You just love that kick? You just kept drilling it?
Yeah, well, you know what? It was just something that I was good at, and even in the tournaments, people couldn't get away from it because I'd go one way, I go front spinning back kick, jump spinning back kick, jump spinning back kick, and people were just had no idea how to handle. Just like I didn't know how to handle the elbows and knees in the beginning.
Right, the tie box.
To this day, they still can't handle my spinning back kick.
They still didn't know how to handle it. So I got to bring up something that I've loved. I got this as a gift. I don't know if you can see this many years ago. Your book, you know, training and fighting skills, and I still reference it today. I love this book. I love that you came up with a book just on basically styles and how to target, how to properly punch and kick. And what was your motivation back then? I mean, the book's now out of print, but it's like back in the 80s it came out. What was your motivation to do that book? You just
I wrote that book in 78.
Oh, really? Okay.
In 78, I wrote that. I did that book, and that was the first one because I wanted to go around the world and be able to give them a book, kind of a manual that they can actually start building kickboxing instead of Muay Thai. Kickboxing, so we can actually have an international. I was thinking that. Maybe we can take this to the Olympic if there was enough countries doing it. But Taekwondo beat us. Beat us to the point. So I ended up taking the book that you just showed. I took that book around the world and I would introduce kickboxing to their country and show them the basics of foundations of defense. And I was always a big teacher of defense because I already assume people can strike, whether they strike hard, how fast they hit, how accurate they are. It didn't matter to me. Everybody can strike, but the defense is what my major thing was. And so the book, I was working on showing a lot of defense and showing them that this is, if you're shooting the right cross, let me show you how to block it. If you're actually kicking, let me show you how to maneuver from it. And so that's what the book was all about, teaching them so they can come up with heroes in their country. So that way we can have international fights, which ended up happening.
Got it. We'll talk about a little bit because we're talking about fighting. One of the Gracies that challenged you, I remember back in the day. How did that come up?
I got a phone call from a producer, a guy claiming to say that he was doing a documentary about real fighting, and he understood that, you know, I would accept challenge matches. I said, absolutely. Who am I going to fight? He said, well, Benny the Jet. I said, Benny the Jet? He said, yes. I said, what's the deal? He said, well, you have to put down $100,000 against his belt of world champion.
That was probably in the late 80s and the early 90s, and I accepted, you know, because I never turned anybody down. I said, you know, you challenge me, I accepted. So I had actually Gene LaBelle, Sensei Gene LaBelle, and Go-Kart, they both trained me for that. And so he challenged me and said, I'll put up $100,000 and whoever, you know, winner will take the $100,000. I said,
best man win.
You're on.
Okay.
And then after that, he called me back and said, it's not fair that I put this money up and you're not putting nothing. So I said, okay, you put $100,000. If I win, I take the $100,000. If you win, you take $50,000. I'll put $50,000 up. And he said it was okay. So then we started training, and Sensei Gene and they started teaching me. And Sensei Gene, brutal, man. He threw me to the ground, just lay on top, and every nerve hit every nerve. He says, "Get out, Jet!" and I said, "Get off me! Maybe I will get up."
Get up, right?
And then after that, then Go-Kart came in and worked with me. And I tell you what, I've never had I mean, I've been around the world, and I've done judo and I've aikido, and I did a lot of different arts before, but I've never seen the way Sensei go-kart. I mean, he had leg locks I've never seen.
Right.
I've never imagined. He had arm bars and chokes, and I mean, I've never seen in my life. I mean, I've been in the arts since I was yay high, but I've never seen what Sensei go-kart had presented to me, showing me.
Yeah.
And so I was really thankful and grateful. And so after that, he ended up saying whether he knew that I was being trained by them or not. And he said, look, why don't we just go to the dojo and you and I just, fight in the dojo. And I said, man, I turned down a movie. I turned down seminars for this. And you're going to tell me, why don't we just go to the dojo?
Okay.
And so it never happened. It never happened. I mean, believe me, I respect. I'm a ground fighter myself. I'm a judo man.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm working with Sensei go-kart, and they taught me a lot about the ground more than I thought. Because I was competing in judo back in the '60s, but not with this type of technique.
Right.
And so I really like that. I mean, because today it's a 3-foot shooting. That means the fight's still on. 3 foot away, you're shooting at each other. 2 foot kicking, 1 foot punching. Anything closer, standing choke, standing arm bars, takedown, tap or snap. And so right now, I'm working with some of my fighters that, hey, you need to learn the ground, so that way you can scramble and get back up on your feet.
Yes.
Because if you don't know how to get out of the ground fighting, hey, they'll just get you tired and end up choking you out, arm barring you, or leg locking you. I said, so you need to, when you hit that ground, you need to know how to get up on your feet again. And the only way that happens is you need to learn how to ground fight.
Yep.
And because being on the ground fighting on concrete and wood is no fun.
Yeah, and there you go. Agreed. Ground fighting is indeed a heck of a grind. So kudos out there to those training in jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or wherever else. Well, what are your thoughts on that and all that Sensei Benny the Jet just shared on his fight history? Comment below, please join the conversation. And listen, of course, this was so nice, we got to do it twice. Meaning there's part 2 coming at you of this interview.
Round 2.
Where we'll cover Sensei Benny the Jet starting movies with the one and only Jackie Chan.
When Jackie first brought me to Hong Kong, but he wanted to make the fight film real. Yes. He wanted to change the way people fought on film.
That is movie choreography work and more on the way. So check back right here on the channel soon for that. And please do give us a helping hand if you would by sharing the video with as many martial arts enthusiasts and friends as you can. And if you'd like, follow me on my social links here, and everywhere so that you can keep up to date with everything we've got going on in the channel and more behind the scenes stuff that you tell me you like. Guys, see you all for part 2. And while you're here, check out my interview with Sensei Benny the Jet's protege, Master Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham right over here. Or even more videos you'd be into right now.
This is Benny the Jet, and you've been watching Kung Fu Chronicles.